Howdy folks, BoDean 52, hope you are well. When you get a new 2024 Road Glide, there's a couple things that you got to get used to that are a little bit different than when you rode a Road Glide Limited or even on the Road King. So let's start off by saying the fortunate thing that you got to get used to when you buy a new bike like this is everybody in the world is looking at your bike going, that's pretty sweet. So I like that. But that's a good thing to have. But the things that are a little bit different that I am getting used to, this is ride number 2 on the bike. And that I think is different. It's like any bike, I guess, that you get, is how the bike sits. Kind of, are you on the bike or are you in the bike, if that kind of makes any sense. And this bike feels like you're in the bike, in the cockpit, which I really like. And you definitely got to get used to the difference in how it feels to a bike that you've had for a couple years. There's just no doubt about that. Kind of how it sits, obviously how it feels, and it definitely is a little bit different. The bike, and I actually looked online on seat height, and there was a couple different numbers there. I got to confirm it. I originally looked at it, I'm like, this says the seat height is higher than my Road Glide Limited, but I can't believe that. It actually feels a little bit lower, which is fine. It's just different. If you also happen to buy a 2024 Road Glide or a Street Glide, it does have the new infotainment system. And I personally so far love it. Some folks don't like the whole digital thing. Since I have an older bike that has no frills on it, a 2000 Road King Classic, I actually like it. There are a bunch of different ways that you can look at the screen. So it's just getting it set up to how you really want it to be. There's a bunch of different modes on this thing as far as the infotainment system. And I will, what is going on there? I rode by that police officer on the way out, by the way. And I thought for sure I was getting a ticket. And is it wrong that I was thinking, how can I turn the camera on? Because this would be a great video. But it is definitely something that you need to get used to. It is a typical Road Glide, so everything you can do, you get controls from right here on the handlebars. They are different if you're used to the typical road Harley stuff, especially the touring models. They are a little bit backwards. I'm getting used to them pretty quick, so it's not that big of a deal, but it is different, so you got to get used to that. For now, my idea is I'm just getting it on the basic screen. I'm running this thing in road mode and just getting used to the bike before I, start playing around with stuff and enjoying the bike, because I couldn't get home from work fast enough today to get out and ride, because it's probably the last day of good weather here in Michigan for a couple days at least. So it is definitely different from where you sit. It's definitely different from a controls perspective to get used to. And the handling on this bike is much different. I think it's just simply because, it's probably because it's 100 pounds lighter than my Road Glide Limited. And, there is a different suspension on this than normally stock. We'll talk about that in a later video. I can tell the difference in the old stock Harley suspension and this suspension. There's no doubt that it is different. So just getting used to the handling. Since the bars on this thing come stock and you can turn those up almost into mini Aves, which is kind of what I got them set at now. It is. I need to do that with my hair. Purple, focus, Boney, focus. You can turn them up, and it's really kind of good to get used to riding with them. Is a different type, but I'm seeing, and I did hit the parking lot back there, that slow maneuvers seem really nice with this bike. Obviously, it's lighter. The bars are where I want them, so just getting that new friction zone, which is a little bit different, is definitely something to get used to. But, you know, it's like any bike. You get on a bike, and unless you're switching, you know, types of bikes, you know, a motorcycle is a motorcycle, right? You get on it, you start it, you work the throttle and the brake, and you go, and you just kind of get used to it on the road. And then I think the other thing, and I'm being careful now because, you know, there's a break-in period. You know, I thought the owner's manual said 500, but the dealership said 1,000, so I'll have to figure that out. And these bikes have a rain mode on them, just throttles things back, a road mode on them. And then they have, what I really like is they have that mode that is going to get you in trouble. So I have not gone on the sport mode yet, just because I'm being careful, just making sure that I'm breaking the motor in how it needs to be. So it is definitely different. It's a good different, but it's something that you just kind of got to start getting used to. It's a like I said, it's a good different, and it is a riot. The biggest thing that I'm having a challenge with just in my 2 days riding this bike is because it's lighter and because it seems really much easier to control. You just want to whip this thing around some of the twisties that we do have in Michigan, which is like 2 roads. And it is just a riot to do, and I'm just kind of holding back for doing that. But it is definitely different. It's different than any Harley I've ever ridden. From my perspective, that's a good thing, because that was the only reason that I would have got this motorcycle, because it's a good different. And man, I got to tell you what, it is a ton of fun so far. I was texting the boys before I left, and I'm like, is it wrong to take a month off work just to ride your new motorcycle? And of course, they all said no. But thinking my boss will not be good with that. All right, thanks, folks. I just wanted to check in, say hi, tell you a little bit of differences and what you got to look for when you're riding a new motorcycle. Obviously, you want to think about safety first. I'm very comfortable on this bike already, and look forward to sharing more with you this year on this bike, touring. There'll be less modifications, and we'll talk about that down the road. But I am super excited to share more of that with you. Don't you folks worry that follow the channel. I've already talked to my Road King Classic, Duke, the 2000, and he's good. But I did see him catching his eye late in the evening in the garage at this thing, and I said, no touch, no touch. Yeah, I'm weird, but you're on my channel. Thanks for staying. Appreciate you. If you like this video, hit the big thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, it's right down here. Even if you don't, we appreciate you stopping by. Be safe out there checking a friend. And we're going to see you real soon on the next video, because I may never stop riding. Peace.